Here's the truth. Whoever you marry, they will be the wrong person. Not because they're bad, not because you made a mistake, but because there is no such thing as a perfect partner who meets every need that you've ever had. Every relationship, even the good ones, will disappoint you sometimes. I remember this was a video called Why You Will Marry the Wrong Person by Alain de Botton in like 2016 on School of Life, I believe. And it made a big impression on me, but I was thinking at the time, what about the traumatized people? It's a little different of a story. So let's be real. If you grew up with trauma and you haven't yet healed from that, you might already know how easy it is to get pulled into relationships that are worse than disappointing, that are abusive, dishonest, or destructive. And people in that state are often driven by their own pain, and life with them can become a kind of slow collapse. But here's where it gets tricky. Even after you've worked hard to heal, even when you're calmer and clearer in your choices, there's still no partner who makes everything easy. There's no island of healed people. Have you ever heard me talk about that? The island of healed people. A lot of us thought it was out there. It's not there waiting for you, where everyone has it all figured out and all the relationships are perfect. There's no such place. We're all swimming in the waters of confusion and pain. And yes, we're all working hard to get where it's easier to love and be loved. And we're at different places in the journey. Now, I learned this when my husband and I first got married, and I'd wanted to be married all my life. And when I met Rob, I admired him, and I grew to adore him. And I was on my toes every day to try to become the kind of person who could handle getting married to a guy like him. I mean, I just really, really admired him. Now, it was 5.5 years from the day we met till the day we got married. And I was sure, but it took him longer to figure out and be sure. And it scared me to death sometimes. I thought the slow pace meant he wasn't into me. And I was so eager to get on with life as a married couple. I was 50 when we got married. But as soon as we were married, I was really struggling. I was angry and disappointed and trying to make him be whatever I thought a husband was supposed to be like. It was fuzzy because what was going on with me was bubbling up from a long time ago memory, when I had in my mind that the great loneliness of single life, and really of my teenage years and even of my childhood, the great loneliness of life, this huge and deep loneliness, and the angst and shame of my life, I just thought they would all go away. All the struggle, all the not fitting in. And when my future husband became my husband, the loneliness was the only thing that lessened, and not even 100%. You can still be lonely as an individual, even though you have your partner. And all the other problems were still there in my life. And at first I thought he was holding something back from me because I still had this sadness from all I'd been through in the decades before I was married to him. So marriage didn't fix me. Being with a good partner is a kind of healing, and having that commitment from him turned out to be, kind of a medium, a milieu that helped me heal. But not because he did it for me, but because being with him made it a lot clearer where I was still unhealed, where all the aches and hollow places still were that only I could mend. And that's the paradox, that even when you're healed enough to handle being with the person of your dreams, it's not a fantasy land. There will still be things you fight about, needs you can't meet for each other, things that annoy you, and things that disappoint you. But that's what real love looks like. Love isn't finding the one person who fills every need left by childhood neglect or abuse. Love is learning to be with another imperfect human being and to live with the truth that they can't always give you everything you long for, and coming to peace with that. It's learning to keep healing and becoming your whole real self that allows you to grow in how you love them. You can't give them everything they might have hoped for either, but you can love them with all your heart anyway. And this is what mature love is. And by the way, if you are hoping to find real love and it hasn't gone so well in the past, I have a free PDF that I can give you about how to spot a great partner. It's about things to watch for when you're dating that signal that this person has the potential to go the distance. And these are traits that prepare you for what works. And I'll put that link in the description section below this video, in the top line. That's where I'll put it. So whether you're with your person yet or you haven't found them yet, how can you release the old fantasy of perfection without falling back into your old pattern of tolerating mistreatment? That's the fear, right? That you'll either get stuck in misery again or you'll push real love away. So what can you do? The first thing is learn to tell the difference between someone's destructive behavior and behavior that merely disappoints you. Someone who threatens you, belittles you, cheats, or controls you, that's destructive. But someone who gets moody when they're tired or forgets anniversaries or doesn't always know how to comfort you, that's in the disappointing category, but not destructive. It's not a crisis. A crisis is a partner who screams at you when you try to leave the house. That's in a different category than one who, forgets to unload the dishwasher. So don't put those on the same level. The second thing is pause before you decide big things. Trauma-driven dysregulation makes you impulsive, and you say yes to getting married or having kids or moving in together when your brain is in panic or longing mode. You don't need to decide your life in a state of craving. Wait until you're calmer. Wait until you're clearer. For example, if you're fighting every week and your partner proposes, don't answer in the middle of the storm. Don't use marriage to, make a Band-Aid over the pain. Give it time. Decisions made in calmness will save you years of pain. All right. Also, stop using intensity as a test for love. If you're only convinced it's real when your stomach drops, when you're obsessing, when you feel like you can't breathe without them, that's probably trauma, not love. So don't measure love by the size of the high. Look instead at how you behave and how they behave over time. For instance, someone who texts you 50 times a day might feel like passion, but someone who shows up when you're sick and who stays with you over time is a lot closer to what love actually is. All right, the next one, expect disappointment and hold it lightly. Every marriage, every partnership will have moments where you feel unseen or let down. And the problem isn't the disappointment, it's how you handle it. Do you rage? Do you collapse? Or can you, relax a little bit and say what you need and keep perspective? For example, if they don't notice that you changed your hair, it stings. Once I cut my hair from like here to here once, and Rob did not notice. It's just not, he doesn't have eyes for that. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't care. So don't burn down the house over one missed moment. If you feel like you're about to lash out, ask for some time to collect yourself, like 15 minutes at least, and then come back and talk about it. Don't run away, and don't make threats that you'll leave. If you ever have to leave, you can cross that bridge when you come to it. But in the meantime, stay, learn to get regulated, and work things out honestly and gently. All right, another one. Check if you're expecting them to heal you. If you're looking for a partner to erase loneliness, to repair your childhood, or to make you feel good about yourself every day, you will be constantly angry and sad. They can love you, but they can't fix you. That part is yours. For example, if you had a neglectful parent, no partner will ever be able to give you that missing childhood back. They can't. So don't turn them into the stand-in for your father or your mother. This is a big red flag that your childhood trauma is still shaping the way that you have relationships, who you choose, and what you expect, and how you potentially can end up blowing things up. Has that happened to you? I have a quiz that you could take to check for signs that early trauma is holding you back in your relationships, your romantic relationships today. I'll put that in the second line of the description below this video. The next one is, notice how you treat them when they're imperfect. Do you punish mistakes? Do you withdraw emotionally? Or can you be okay with the fact that they're human, just like you? If you want grace for your flaws, you need to give it for theirs. So let's say your partner forgets to pick up milk on the way home. Do you explode or do you let it go? Love grows when you allow room for ordinary errors. They have strengths that you don't have, just as you have strengths they don't have. They are not you, but hopefully you are complementary. The next one is stay conscious of your own part. It's easy to focus on what your partner didn't do, but the deeper work is to ask, how was I showing up? Was I prickly? Did I expect mind reading? Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking blame. It means you have power to change your side of the dynamic. For example, if you blow up when they're late, ask yourself, was this really about being 15 minutes late, or was it my abandonment wound flooding my perception, right? The next one is enjoy the little things that anchor you together. Just tiny little daily acts, cooking dinner together, a little hug when you pass each other in the house, checking in at night. These do more for lasting love than grand gestures or huge dramatic swings, from almost breaking up to getting back together. Some of us had to torture our relationships to feel anything in the past, but relationships are built in the ordinary routines that you repeat over and over. Think about how much calmer you feel when you know that you'll debrief your day together over dinner versus waiting for intense romantic declarations or white light spiritual experiences to prove to you that this love is real. For people with trauma, it's easy to mistake intensity for love. And chaos can feel so familiar. So steadiness can feel empty. And that's why when you finally find yourself with someone who isn't destructive, you may still feel restless or lonely. And you may even think, this can't be love because it doesn't hurt the way I'm used to. That's the old pattern. Real connection isn't constant fireworks. It's often quiet. It's sometimes boring. And it's always imperfect. And there will be times when you think, I've really done it this time. I've married the wrong person. And that's the good news, because if you let go of perfection, you make space for something better. The beauty of love isn't in finding the flawless partner. It's in discovering that imperfect love with all its limits is where real love begins. And it can still be deeply good. If you like this video, I've got one that you're going to love right here, and I'll see you very soon. Even if your partner is used to this kind of behavior and they stick around, this kind of conflict that doesn't feel realistic, that feels overblown, it'll gradually drain away love and trust and close off connection.